Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Forts Comic News, episode 322. I'm one of your hosts, Chris. Alongside my co-host here, Mike. It's popping, Mike.
Just got back from The Flash about an hour ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that. I mean, I liked it, so we'll talk about that in a second. I will say movies have gotten really long to the fact that like the movie started at 11, we got out at like after 2 o'clock because they do this thing now because they know people show up later for previews because they play those stupid ass commercials. At 11 o'clock when the movie should have started, they played like 10 more minutes of commercials and then they played the previews. And I was like, so we're sitting here for like over half an hour before we get to the movie.
Yeah, that's one thing about having like a small local theater is it's just previews and then fucking movie.
Yeah, Regal's like, we have seltzer waters here, we have Pepsi, and then we have Coke, and then we have M&Ms. It's like, okay, guys, like, I don't know who you're trying to
money
sell.
somehow.
Do you think people are really like in the movie like, damn, that was a really good Coke ad, let me go out and grab a Coke? Like, people are just grabbing their shit before they get to the movie. At least that's what I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Actually, I know. It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of their contract to have.
They get it. Commercial. Yeah. Interview today, everybody. We're going to talk about The Flash, but we also have Davey T. Otterby on for all you folks that are curious. We're going to talk about Unemployed Monsters.
Davey.
Chris and I have issues here that we read. Advanced copies. Very cool. Very cool story. I will say, if you like Rick and Morty, you're probably going to like this book. Very Rick and Morty-esque. And with that, I think we got a lot to talk about today, so let's just jump into the news, Chris.
Let's do it.
Movie news. Well, this is pretty nice segue for the Flash discussion next, but the Flash director, Andy Muschietti, has been tapped to direct Batman the Brave and the Bold movie for the new DC Cinematic Universe. His production company, Double Dream, also has been hired to work on the film, which also means his sister, Barbara Muschietti, will produce. That's cool. We'll talk about it right now. I liked The Flash. I thought the directing of it was good. He can definitely direct a superhero film. And the Batman sequences were fantastic, right? So
Batman sequences were good. So I mean, that's fine. I don't know how they came to this conclusion personally, because I think The Flash is a terrible movie. I'm gonna go on the exact opposite side of you, Mike.
Okay.
I thought. I mean,
so hold on, everybody. We're gonna spoil this movie. So if you don't want spoilers, you should probably skip ahead like 15 or 20 minutes, and then we'll just carry on the show normally. But there you go.
So let's just say real quick, like, good for him. I thought the Batman stuff was fine in the movie, and I'll be interested to see how he handles getting a Batman movie, the superhero movie. It's not bogged down by like this. To be fair, in my opinion, fairly honest, like bad continuity, and I'm at the point now. I posted on Twitter like I'm done with DC until James Gunn's Superman comes out. Like that's just where I'm at. I'm not doing it anymore.
And as far as Andy Muschietti, that's not his problem, right? That's kind of executives.
I think a lot of the issues with this movie aren't necessarily Andy's problem. Like I thought the action sequences were fine. And let's just segue this into our Flash discussion. Like the action sequences are fine. I thought the biggest problem with this movie was the script was bad. The special effects were rushed for some reason. Like they feel rushed, even though this movie is 3 years late. And the acting is horrendous. And I think a majority of that is that Ezra Miller is just not a good actor.
So I will say this. I don't think, while I would agree. So we're going to have a Pat's Flash Facts here in a second, but I would probably give the movie a 7 or 8 out of 10. Was it my favorite movie? No. Was it a fun movie? Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I will say, let me address these separately. You're thinking about the CGI. Yeah, when they're in the Speed Force turning back time and stuff like that, that's like, we didn't need that, all that. Like, I get that he was like rewinding, but you could just do like sizzle reels of shit we've already seen. You don't need to do that awful like CGI of everything happening. That was like a little jarring for me.
I didn't mind the decision of like the bubble.
Yeah, like that was fine.
That works. It's just the CGI looked terrible.
Yeah, the CGI looked it was like Flash TV show CGI.
And then like the ending, which should have been like this hugely expensive, amazing sequence, which it to be fair, like, okay, there's parts of this movie that I do enjoy. Like, with any movie, there's things I enjoy. So, like, the ending sequence where we do the Crisis on Infinite Earths ending, and it shows the different universes, and we get to see, like, Christopher Reeve's Superman and Nicolas Cage Superman.
And
it's all done in CG. Like, I was popping for that. Like, that was awesome, especially the Nicolas Cage part.
Yeah.
But it also took me back because it looked awful.
Yeah.
It looked like a cartoon, not a live action movie.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a choice. That could be a choice. If it was a choice, I still stand by. I think it was a bad choice, but
yeah, and I feel like maybe a lot of that stuff a lot of that CGI got added after the fact, because we know this. I mean, this script had been like scrapped so many times.
Yeah.
I'll say this: I did have a lot of fun with the movie, and I agree that like seeing Ezra in a whole movie, whether Ezra's a good actor or not. I mean, whatever. I've enjoyed Ezra in some stuff. I didn't care for Ezra in The Flash. I think Ezra does a lot better job with like a torn and like sad emo character, like in the Harry Potter movies, or some.
Was he in a Harry Potter movie?
The Fantastic Beasts. He's like the center point of those movies.
I haven't gotten to those yet.
They're like the center point, yeah. So, but this one where he's like over the top, like trying to be happy and hyper, it was just like after like 10, 15 minutes in, I was like, all right, this is enough. Like it was like they were ruining the moment for me, but like I would prefer, like, man, just thinking the whole time, I would love to have Grant Gustin in this.
Oh, that would have probably brought this movie up points for me. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Like, man,
it didn't feel like Barry to me. I mean, I don't like the happy-go-lucky, jokey, like twitchy and all that. Like, that was a choice that was made, and I just didn't like it. But I think the movie lost me in like you said, in the first 11 minutes, 10 minutes or so. Like, dude, the second they did the sequel, like, first we didn't have to do the whole he's running low on energy thing. Like, just scrap that. That was stupid. And then that whole CG sequence where he's trying to save the babies falling from the sky.
He put a baby in a microwave.
So that was funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But my issue there is, one, it lost me the second he says baby shower.
Yeah.
I like at that moment I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm out.
Yeah.
But then it immediately goes to this, he breaks into a snack machine and has to eat to like recharge himself, and it just looks so goofy.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
Yeah. That was some of those choices there were interesting. Hey, but points for bringing Alfred back, man. Holy shit. Alfred and Ben Affleck Batman. I was like, is Flash even in this movie? When I hear, Flash, we need you. And I was like, oh shit. Like, all right. That was cool. And seeing like Batman do his thing, I was like, man, I just wish I had more Ben Affleck Batman. Honestly, like that, like if they didn't have Batman in this movie, or any type of like the Batmen in the movie, I don't know how it would have done for me.
I think this movie's biggest sin is it doesn't have enough of Keaton Batman.
Yeah, for real. Like, that was the best part for me, was seeing Keaton Batman. Let me just read Pat's flash facts, and then we can just riff off that too. So,
okay.
General comments, thoughts about the movie. He gives it an 8 out of 10. I give it like a 7 to 8, so I can see that. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but it could have been so much better. Really enjoy a new fun twist on Flashpoint. Full of nostalgia. He enjoys that Michael Keaton stole the movie. I agree, for sure. Like you said, not enough Michael Keaton. Love seeing the other Batman and Superman. Nicolas Cage, what the fuck, he says. Which a lot of people don't know, like the Death of Superman Lives, that documentary that came out, like 5+ years ago now, where there was a Tim Burton Superman film, everyone, that got scrapped. And
that Kevin Smith
wrote, and they said, dude, you can't have Superman fighting a spider because it's stupid. And here we are, folks. We have a movie.
Well, that's not how the story went.
Okay. Was it a giant ant or was it a spider? I can't remember.
No, he wrote the script, and I think Brainiac was supposed to be the villain. And
they wanted a giant bug.
The producer wanted him to fight a giant spider in the third act. And that's what, if you watch I think it's one of the Evening with Kevin Smith's, he talks about it. And then literally the next year, the same producer did that Wild Wild West movie where they fight a spider in the third act.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the last few comments. Ezra was fine. They might have been the worst part. Yep, I think we agree there.
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl was okay. Yep, she just really smolders the whole time. They missed their shot of Red Sun Superman. Amen, brother. Had some faults, but it was a fun movie. I agree it was a fun movie. And then his last comment, Michael J. Fox will always be my Marty McFly. So that is a reference to the movie.
Oh, yeah.
There was some fun sequences, but like, yeah, dude, the multiverse shots like got me all hyped up. But like, and then the end, right? So even if this movie doesn't address continuity at all, it doesn't fix anything, it doesn't do any of that shit. The whole time they're fighting like to save that Earth, like fighting Zod. I'm just like thinking to myself, why are they here? I like obviously Barry realizes he fucked up. Like, why doesn't he just go back? Like, and then he realizes after like this giant fight and like killing Zod, like can't defeat Zod and stuff. That is like then he realizes, oh, I need to go back. Like, dude, you should have done it earlier.
This whole thing of like he has to do it because that's what a hero does. I'm like, okay, and I know like this is a weird opinion because it kind of goes against what I said about other DC movies, but like it tried too hard to be Marvel funny. And like we've been complaining that Marvel funny isn't really doing it anymore.
Yeah, right. It tried too hard. Also, you had Flash say fuck at the end of the movie, which was like,
like I don't know. And Supergirl was fine, but like she did nothing.
Yeah,
she accomplishes nothing through the movie other than to save them once. I mean,
and then dies. Yeah.
I just was so disappointed with every plot aspect of this movie where I don't know. I can't say it's a 7 out of 10. It's like a 5 or a 4 out of 10 for me because it fails in so many ways.
Yeah.
And even though it has these moments that made me happy, it then ends on the worst possible note it could, which is to bring back everything. Like he goes back, he ends up killing his mother.
Right.
And then, solving the timeline issue and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, because he switched things around to save his dad.
Mm-hmm.
He meets up with Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And it's the worst fucking Bruce Wayne ever on film.
Yeah. I mean, so that gave me questions too. It's like, okay, so is so like we had heard that Michael Keaton was going to be the Batman for the universe. I guess that's not true anymore. We have George Clooney showing up, which leads me to believe this movie means nothing for the cinematic universe, right? Like they made all these changes. Then why not have like alternate endings? Why not have it be like 6 different Batman that show up? Have a different ending where like, oh, it's Christian Bale coming out of the car. Oh, it's like, I don't know, an Adam West lookalike.
I think the original ending was supposed to be Keaton.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that was going to set up Batgirl or whatever that movie was they were going to do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like at this point, I literally just sat there. I'm like, so this movie, I mean, I get it. If you enjoyed it and you have fun, this comment's going to go right through you and mean nothing. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, this movie means nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun. I enjoyed it. So
yeah, like that. And that's fine. I mean, Star Wars Legends canon. If you still enjoy it, that's great. That's what you're supposed to do with it. But I'm such a continuity hound that like I sit down there. I'm like, okay, so we're not going to get George Clooney to be Batman in the future. Like he's not going to be Batman in Brave and the Bold.
No, he's not. He's too expensive, I think.
And I just don't think. I mean, fans would be like, "What the? Really? You're going to bring back bat nipples?"
Yeah, right.
But,
never again.
But yeah, for me, I just why didn't this movie get delayed further to change the ending and like set up what's coming next? Because at this point, I just see there's got to be a hard reboot somewhere.
Oh, I think that's I think this movie confirms that, like you said, like Superman Legacy is going to be the hard reboot. Like I think what they've done is like there was probably a movie there somewhere that changed a lot of stuff, and then they said, why don't we just? I mean, we're at the point now between allegations against the main actor, all this bullshit happening, Batgirl gets scrapped, we might as well just stay away from that and just move forward. I think that's kind of how it ended up.
Yeah,
which sucks.
And like I got the Blue Beetle trailer before the movie, and it just I think I'm done until James Gunn takes over. Like
I'm honestly not that excited for the Blue Beetle.
Yeah, we got 2 more DC movies. They're going to be inconsequential. And Blue Beetle's one of them. Like, it just doesn't look interesting to me. I'm sorry. And then I didn't really like the first Aquaman, so
I have a feeling the Aquaman movie is going to be hot trash.
Well, and then so to jump off of that, like the end credit sequence was, I thought it was dumb personally.
What was it?
You didn't stay for the end credit sequence?
I looked it up and I didn't see that there was one. I stayed for the dog thing, but what was the end credit sequence after?
So
that?
it's Ezra Flash and Aquaman coming out of a bar, and Aquaman's all like drunk and wasted, and he falls into a puddle. And I'm like, what? I mean, it was funny, kind of. Like,
yeah.
I think I like Momoa as like an actor and a person. Like, he seems like a good dude. He has a good sense of humor and everything.
Right.
But I sat there, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's just another thing for me that shows that the old regime at DC just did not understand what made Marvel successful. And I know I sound like a Marvel like fanboy about this, but like, God, like, how do you not see? Well, should have set up.
I'm gonna say Marvel up until Infinity War, because it's been a little scrambled since then. But
I've had my criticism since then.
Right. And I will say this: the I would never thought you would have got like Batman and the Lasso of Truth in this movie, but that was a pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
like in the Flash being like, I've never had sex before. I was like, okay, that was a little much. Like,
that was a little much. I'm gonna go against you on that one too. Like, I hated that scene too.
No, it just felt like they forced it in there.
And they had to force the comment of like, if I just give up all my money, it would serve all. A, no, it wouldn't. You're stupid.
Yeah.
B, it's just that's not what Batman would say. That's not Batman.
Right.
If Batman really believed that, Batman would give up everything to solve all the problems in Gotham. Like, that's who Batman is.
Yeah. That whole interaction with them felt forced, like on the bridge where he's like, okay, goodbye, Barry.
It felt to me like they thought this was funny and it could make a statement. And it just, maybe for some it didn't, but for me it fell flat. Because I go there, I'm like, no.
And how do you not even show, like, you don't even show a yellow flash, like not in the suit or anything. I mean, like a yellow flash of light when Barry's mom dies. You don't do any of that shit. Like, no. You just haven't. You don't even hint to like who could have killed her, or that the husband goes free. But it's like,
and this for me is the big one, like the plot.
Yeah.
So we did this in the TV series, and we did it better.
Yeah, way better.
And I think this movie also fails from people like, for me particularly, we joke that Flash ended after Super Best Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's real because I legitimately just got sick of it after that. And I was like, okay, we're doing the same thing. And I'm bored with it. That was me. This movie felt like retelling a story arc that I enjoyed in the TV series, not as well.
Yeah, right.
And then when it all came, it was huge spoilers for the ending, everybody. When the ending came and it just ended up being the alternate Barry that was the bad guy, I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that I think that Dark Flash was definitely added after the fact. There was you can't tell me there was no Reverse Flash reference in the original script, and then you add this dude Dark Flash, who's just like a culmination of like outer space debris and time. That was a little wonky. But dude, this movie had 60s Batman in it. I'm
happy you and others I know really enjoyed it. I couldn't. It
was fun. It was fun in the sense that like Shazam was fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm always gonna like nerd out over DC shit, but I will say the Iris West stuff was so forced. You didn't even need to have Iris in this film. You did not. If that was the way you treated her, you did not need her in the film, because she was just like, "Hey, I remember you from college. Yeah, leave me alone in your apartment. Now I want you even more." I was like, "What's happening here? This is not how people are pursued in real life."
I agree with you. Now that we're in a world where, like I said, this movie doesn't matter in terms of continuity.
Right.
If we were in a previous world that this was going to set up future DC movies, that her addition would have meant more.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with these ongoing stories and these creators need to understand. Like, that whole thing, I think people would have been much more appreciative of and enjoyed more and made more sense if there was going to be a Flash 2.
Yeah.
But there's not.
Yeah, I know they've said, there could be. It's like, I don't think you guys are doing this. If there is a Flash in the cinematic universe and it's not Grant Gustin, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Listen, I'm fine if they don't do Grant Gustin.
Somebody else.
Just don't do Ezra.
And I'll say this, like you said, those now I'm thinking about like those episodes where Barry goes back in time in the Flash TV show. Man, those episodes had so much weight to it. Even the music was like the only music I can recognize from this movie was like the Danny Elfman Batman theme because it's like godly, right? But the Flash TV show with that theme and like him going back in time, seeing his mom and like talking to her, and you're like, holy shit! Like this movie did not have that weight, you know.
And I think they wasted their cameos.
Yeah, for sure.
So I talked about the end credit sequence with Momoa, but having Gal Gadot in it with her sequence, why not do that and then put her in Flashpoint World or whatever that alternate timeline's supposed to be?
Right.
And do like a scene with her.
Yeah.
Where she's like, and like, you don't have to do exactly Flashpoint, but just do something with her in that. That would have meant more to me than her like helping them out and having a quick lasso of truth joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I think that was not done.
I think
as well as it could have been.
I think I'm getting tired of like the Wonder Woman being treated as like the unattainable sex object, like in that scene. And then did you see the new Shazam?
Not yet. I still really I do want to. But
okay, well, sorry, she shows up in that one, and that's like oh my god, why can't I think of his? I want to say Barry, but it's Shazam, Billy Batson, too many B's, is like in love with her and like wants to, take her out and like has dreams about like making out with her and stuff. And I'm like, that's literally the same cameo and interaction we had in the Flash. Like, this is getting kind of old, guys. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like, come on. Like, I know she's awesome, but like, she could be doing like you could have made her the general or some shit in like the alternate universe. Like you said, that would have been sick.
It's one of those things where I agree with you, like that you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It also makes sense. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, if I was living in that world, I'd be like, fuck, like, yeah.
She is a goddess, right? So
yeah, she's supposed to be like the ultimate
divine,
like most beautiful woman in the world. Like, it's, but I do understand where you're coming from there at the same time. Like, it's just
and the reviews aren't that great either. I mean, it's getting a lot of good fan reviews, but and James Gunn and everybody saying this is the best film. Like, I will say that I'm pretty pissed about James Gunn being like, this is the best DC film ever and all this bullshit. That was all marketing. The executives are telling him to tweet that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure if people go back, I was saying that same thing. I'm like, there's no, and it also just sets a bad expectation. Like, also,
I want to note that like the opening sequence was like, I don't know, we talked about this years ago where I have this like idea for comics where you put like all the DC heroes in situations where like, Batman eating a sandwich on a rooftop and like the Flash waiting at the DMV. And the opening sequence of this movie was like him waiting for his coffee, like in line, checking his watch and shit. And that's like how I envisioned this comic of him waiting at the DMV. But then it just goes so badly with like him talking to the sandwich guy. I was like, what is happening here? I'm like, and he was acting like, oh, well, that girl is always making my coffee. Why isn't she here? And it was like, why do we have this conversation? Like,
it's also was the Barry always being late thing in the TV show?
Yeah, that's just a thing. Barry's always late. Yeah.
Okay, because that hit me wrong too. I'm like, and
no, that's just something always with the Flash. He's always late.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched the show, so maybe I had that criticism at the time, maybe I didn't. But I remember like, all right, so the guy who runs fast is late all the time. Awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Listen, I did enjoy it. I had fun with the movie. I'll probably end up watching it again when it comes out on HBO or Max, whatever the hell that's called. But just for the Batman scenes alone, I mean, Michael Keaton Batman. Ugh.
Legitimately, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Yeah,
those Batman scenes were fantastic. Like him fighting dude, him fighting the like it doesn't make any sense, but him fighting the Kryptonian, that was pretty sick. Like jumping all over him and sticking bombs to him and stuff. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
I didn't like that they made him like a shut-in. Like Gotham is perfect now, so we don't need Batman. Like, okay.
Yeah, they gave him the Luke Skywalker treatment.
Yeah.
They don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
I have this special set of skills, and everybody looks up to me, but nobody needs me. I'm gonna.
And yeah, he hasn't been Batman forever, but he can still go into a Russian military base and kick everyone's ass.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah,
I'll suspend my disbelief. I just have to criticize that.
Right.
Like in the moment, I'm like, okay, it's Batman. Batman kicks ass. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was funny to just like think back. I'm like, he wasn't Batman for a while.
Yeah. Right.
But
yeah.
That's the overthinking fanboy stuff that I criticize. So I'm gonna let that go.
But like him flying the Batwing and shit like that was
awesome
to see it in like with good effects. Like those are some good visual effects with the Batwing to be like not that 1990s like strung up by a string kind of shit. I thought that was really cool. All right. I think we killed that one. So I give like a 7 to 8 out of 10. Pat's Flashbacks, 8 out of 10. Thanks for your review. Chris, 5 out of 10. So definitely not the worst movie you've seen though, right? You can at least say that.
What's the worst movie I've seen?
I mean, Green Lantern. The bar's pretty low, brother.
Yeah, that one's right there with Fantastic Four 2, Silver Surfer. Because they're the same movie.
What about Fantastic with remember that one with Josh Trank?
I never actually saw it, so I
never watched the Josh Trank one, dude? I went and saw that at the theaters opening night because I was so pumped.
No, I didn't.
I was shafted, bro. I was shafted.
The story there is he gave a whole interview on Smodcast.
Yeah, he did.
And it was supposed to be a 2-part interview that was like hours and hours long. He never came back because it was so bad of a movie.
I listened to the first part of that. I'm like, dude, this is gonna be the best Fantastic Four movie ever. And then I went and saw it, and I was like, what?
I started to see people reacting to it, and I was just like, nope.
What just happened? What did I just watch?
I don't think we were doing the show yet, so I didn't have that like.
Yeah, we might not.
Like, well, I have to have an opinion.
Yeah, right. And me, I'm just like craving Fantastic Four. So,
hopefully you'll get that soon enough. Yeah, hopefully. Okay,
Stan Lee documentary. Did you watch it?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's about what you think.
It could be for me that I've read the story a million times, so it's like whatever. Right. I did like that they gave tons so Jack Kirby's voice is in it.
Oh,
they give props to Kirby and Ditko. They do show the whole like the infamous moment where Stan Lee calls into a radio interview with Jack Kirby and they get into an argument. Like that's a part of it. So
really? That's cool.
Yeah, I was appreciative that they actually like showed these things. Although I think they definitely sided more with Stan Lee on everything than his co-creators.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm really appreciative they did is Stan gives Stan narrates the whole thing. This had been made prior to him passing away.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And he talks about his feelings on co-creation and how he said in his eyes, he always believed that he's the creator of Spider-Man because he had the idea. He described the character, and he then presents Ditko's argument of like, well, you wouldn't even have a character if I didn't draw it. And Stan says like, I gave him co-creator. Like I kind of gave in because I didn't want a bad relationship between us. I thought we worked well together and this, all this stuff. But in my heart, I still feel like I'm the creator of Spider-Man, which was a very interesting thing to hear. I disagree with Stan, but I appreciate it being out there.
At the end of the day, he can't draw Spider-Man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's no Spider-Man without Ditko. I mean,
yeah.
And he even says he gave it to Kirby first. Kirby didn't do it very well, or at least Kirby has a different set of skills than Ditko does, so he did not the way Stan wanted. Ditko's the one that brought it to life. So I mean, but whatever. The only thing I'll say is there's a speech at the end that late life Stan Lee speeches where he's talking about like chasing your dream and doing these things and blah 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 always get to me, and I fucking bawled at the end. But all in all, I thought it was just okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Comic news, Chris. Marvel has announced a new creative team for Captain Marvel releasing October. Alyssa Wong will write and is joined by artists by Jan Bazaldua. Will take over the series, a new number 1 and a new sidekick, and of course, an all-new status quo. I like Alyssa Wong. I've read some of her Marvel stuff, so that's cool. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. I liked. I think we talked about it. I liked Dr. Aphra. That I think she still does.
Yeah.
I'm behind on my Star Wars stuff.
She's done some of the Shang-Chi stuff, the new stuff.
Yeah, she did Shang-Chi. Did she do an Iron Fist book?
Yeah, I think there was like a crossover there that she did some stuff. I think she was doing some of the Iron Fist.
Yeah, so I'll say what I've read of hers I like, but I'm not gonna read Captain Marvel. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got too many books, Mike.
Too many books. I hear you, man.
I can't keep up with the books I'm buying.
I hear you, dude. I hear you. Marvel Zombies are getting the Black, White, and Blood treatment. That's cool. The new limited series, obviously titled Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood. Like the other versions of the series, it will be an anthology series with 3 stories of each issue. First issue number 1, there will be a story written by Garth Ennis. Cool. Artist Rachel Scott will deal with zombie Daredevil as he deals with the sins he has committed as a zombie. And then there's an amazing cover with zombie Wolverine on it. So
yeah, phenomenal cover. Mike, I'm buying too many comics, but I'm going to buy this one.
Yeah, Chris is in for the zombies, folks, right? This one sounds fun.
Yeah, I like the Marvel zombie stuff because I am one. And Garth Ennis, amazing writer. And dude, Daredevil, that's such a good idea. I mean, because the Marvel zombies still have some sentience where they're still themselves, but they have this bloodlust. And, Daredevil how does Daredevil deal with being a flesh-eating monster while also being a Catholic?
How does that work?
They don't mix.
How does he figure that part out?
So I love this idea, and I am all in.
Yeah.
Speaking of all in,
here we go. DC has announced a new Black Label comic from writer-artist Rafael Grampa. The series is called Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. The series will feature Gotham ravaged by serial killer, and getting darker by the day, Batman must kill off the persona of Bruce Wayne and become a full-time Batman. Yeah, I'll probably check this one out. That cover looks pretty sick. I like the title as well.
Yeah.
I'm here for Batman. I'm here for Black Label books. They're always a good time.
Yeah, and this is the artist from Berserker.
Oh, okay.
So I've heard good things about the art.
Yep. Nice.
I like the idea. I like the idea of Batman's just finally gonna give in and be, the old idea of Bruce Wayne's the persona, not Batman.
Yeah.
And so him just finally being I'm gonna be me all the time.
Yeah.
And what that really does to him, that'll be, it could lead to some interesting storylines. So
it's definitely gonna go great for him. I don't know.
Definitely. So
I'll pick this one up. Yeah, me too. We now know officially what Jon Stewart Green Lantern's new series will be. Green Lantern War Journal will be an ongoing series with writer Philip Kennedy Johnson. What? And artist Montos. The series will be released this fall, set a deal with John being forced to jump back into action as GL after trying to leave that life behind him. Yes. Philip Kennedy Johnson, Jon Stewart Green Lantern. Yes. Let's go. Holding a Gatling gun on the front cover. What more do you want? Yeah, I'm definitely getting this.
100%. And I found also this spins out apparently that Jon Stewart backup story in Green Lantern #1 is this. It's the beginning of this. So now I gotta go back and find that issue.
Yeah, I read that. I don't even remember what happened though, to be honest.
Yeah, the Hal stuff I don't care about. I just want more John.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I love Jon Stewart Green Lantern. And I've been waiting for a Jon Stewart Green Lantern book to come back. I don't think we've gotten a real Jon Stewart book since New 52.
I don't think so either.
I could be wrong there, but I'm all in.
Pretty hype.
All in.
Pretty hype. After the big announcement last week that Void Rivals is a G.I. Joe Transformers Universe book, we find out at the end of issue 1 what the future for the franchises will be at Skybound/Image. There are 4 series being published by the line starting this winter. First is Transformers, coming this October from artist-writer Daniel Warren Johnson. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool cover art, too.
Yeah, I I don't really like Transformers that much.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not going to read any of these, but that's cool.
But like, I love Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh man, this one's even crazier. G.I. Joe comics. This one's coming in December from writer Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley, titled The Artist Tom Riley, titled Duke. So Duke is part of G.I. Joe comics, I guess.
Apparently.
And then in January from writer Joshua Williamson and artist Andrea Milana will be Cobra Commander. Okay, Joshua Williamson just raking it up here. Finally, yeah.
Just to jump in on this, I don't read G.I. Joe. I'm not really a G.I. Joe guy. Kind of interested in this.
Yeah, I like Cobra Commander. I think that's cool.
Cobra Commander's cool. Joshua Williamson doing it.
It's cool.
My only question is, at what point is Joshua Williamson just doing way too much shit?
Yeah, right. What is he? Yeah.
But
where's the limit here?
It's probably gonna be a no from me, but like the interest is there.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody over at Skybound wants to send me copies.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But yeah, I don't. We'll see. We'll see with that one.
Finally, with the original continuity from the Marvel age of G.I. Joe, is G.I. Joe a real American hero? From the series' original writer, wow, Larry Hama, damn, artist Chris Mooneyham. The series will pick up with issue 301. That's pretty crazy. You got Larry Hama coming back.
Yeah, and I know somebody who's like a big fan of that original series. And has just been waiting for this announcement. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad that Kirkman and company were like, because people were enjoying that Real American Hero book at IDW that Larry Hama was a part of. And when that got announced, Larry had kind of said like he didn't know what the future was. He had more ideas. He wanted to do more with it, and all this. And the fans were kind of up in the air about it, but it's here. So now go support it, all you G.I. Joe fans.
Go get it.
And I'm glad you're getting it if it's still good.
And then sadly, we're going to end on a sad note before we talk about what we read this week. We lost two creators, sadly. First is Ian McGinty, only 38 years old. I didn't even know about this one. Ian is known for his work on Rocko's Modern Life, Invader Zim, and more. That's very sad. Those are...
Yeah, and really... so Ian's death kind of sparked the whole hashtag comics broke me. Which I will get into on a later interview that I have scheduled. But not only that, but we don't really know. I don't really know why he passed away, like what caused it. I seem to get the idea that he had some sort of condition he wasn't taking care of because he was too busy working on comics. And I'm not saying that in a pejorative way. Like he was trying to work all the time to pay for things. And that's what started that hashtag. I got to talk to Ian one time behind the scenes. We almost had him on the show at one point. We had one of his collaborators in the Rocko's Modern Life comic on the show.
I remember that.
Wow. And from my 2 or 3 interactions with him, he was a busy dude, but he was just a dude that loved like the cartoons we grew up on and wanted to like work on that and love comics. And he at one point got to work for Nickelodeon, was like through the roof, and he just seemed like a good dude. So it's really sad all around. And the fact that like he's not that much older than we are, man.
I know. Yeah, it's like our age.
Yeah. So this is a rough one, but
sad, really sad. And then we lost John Romita Sr., who was 93 years old. God bless. JRS is best known for his work in Marvel Comics, of course, but specifically Spider-Man, where he became known as the definitive Spider-Man artist. Now we know his son. It's pretty popular, but yeah, wow, 93 years old. That's a long life right there. Holy crap.
Yeah, and his son said it was from natural causes. So, I mean, the dude lived a long, prosperous life. Like, and got to pass on his talents and his everything to his son, which is really cool.
Yeah.
John Romita is one of those guys that defined Marvel Comics back in the day. So he will have a legacy for decades and decades to come.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But I know his son's hurting right now. I mean, I can't imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go through it one day, but I can't imagine. I don't even want to think about it.
Well, let's talk about the comics we read this week, Chris. I know you had quite a bit.
I do have quite a bit.
I did catch up on Barbaric number. So this is what I caught up on from the last the last weeks you talked about, so I'll just run through these quick. Barbaric 4, Hell to Pay. Number 4. This is Barbaric, Hell to Pay, number 4, the end of that series. I thought there was an awesome ending. All the characters are heading in a new group. I like how we split off into like 2 groups. Fantastic Four, number 8. This is North and Fiorelli. I thought they're staying at the Fantastic Farm is what they call it now. This villain made out of wood like shows up and Reed, and they start fighting him because he's like infecting Reed and mind controlling people in the town. It's just a fun book, and Fantastic Four are in it.
I want a Fantastic Farm T-shirt now.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Batman 136. Chip Zdarsky's still on it. I thought it was a great issue. Batman's return to Gotham, meets with Selina, finds out Penguin faked his death, and then meets with the Bat family at the end, but then he can't enjoy it because he's having constant like panic attacks and sees them all burning, which is classic Batman. I really like that he didn't end it on a happy note. There's a reason Batman doesn't get everybody that he loves together in a room. Like it's like going back to the whole movie thing, right? My parents brought me to the movies. I brought everybody I loved in one area, and now they're dead. So it's like I think he's got some childhood trauma he needs to work out.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Shazam 2 that you read. This is Wade and Mora. Great issue. Psycho Pirate fight was good, and the gods of the Shazam meeting at the Rock of Eternity, and that's pretty sick. We don't get enough of that, like the gods of Shazam. So I like that. Dark Knights of Steel 11. My comment here is, man, 3 months between issues. What the hell? Good issue while we're working with the White Martians the whole time. Everybody else is working together to team up. But dude, 3 months between issues. Like, come on, guys.
It's rough.
Superman John Kent number 4. Taylor Robertson. Blue Suit Superman. You didn't spoil that one for me. Shows up again in this one.
So
Superman or Superboy. I don't know, whatever you want to call him. John Kent goes Blue Suit Superman for a little bit. He talks to the Bat family and his boyfriend about the Earth he's on, so that was pretty good. And then the only book I got to from this week after catching up on all my shit was Barbaric Queen of Swords number 1 by Marechi and Howell. And don't sleep on this. It's just as good as all the other Barbaric stories.
Yes,
it's really good. We get the team of like the witch, the barbarian, the assassin, working to get the orb to find out more, and then we find out more about the witch's past, which is interesting. They jump into another dimension, chasing the orb. I just love this universe. It feels like it's a D&D campaign, but it's got the art and like the feel of like I love all the characters. It's like the D&D book I've always wanted, but it's not like labeled that, but I really do enjoy it
because it's got that humor.
Yeah, it's got that, like, it doesn't take itself too seriously,
Because I think for us in particular, I mean, for me especially, like part of D&D is the humor, like us like joking around and having a good time.
Right. You don't take it so seriously.
Yeah. A few books I caught up on. So I caught up on Phantom Road, which is just a really good series. I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
From last week, I got Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 13, which is the quote-unquote final issue of the Cold War. But as I say that, it's the quote-unquote final issue, but there's no Mega after it.
Interesting.
Which I think I read this week. I am so fucking... Yeah, so actually, I can talk about these together. So I also have Captain America Cold War Omega. Okay. So basically, like, it's over. It's a complicated ending. I think all in all, it was an okay event, but where it leaves Steve is confusing because it leaves Steve in Dimension Z to kind of handle things with his son, and I don't know where they're going to take that. It seems like Ian's going to be the new leader of Dimension Z, and then it definitely sets up Sam as the Captain America for the Marvel Universe moving forward, which makes sense due to the movies. Yeah, it was okay. It was it's unfortunate this is how the Jackson Lanzig, Colin Kelly run has to end. But we do get one more issue with them, so, it is what it is. Daredevil number 12 was really good. This is from last week as well. It's basically Daredevil is going to hell to fight a demon or some shit.
Okay.
and he gets a really cool white suit. Chip Zdarsky writing some good comics. I really enjoyed it.
So he looks like Nemesis?
Actually, yeah. I can show you I'll show the page. I'll spoil the fuck out of this.
Nice. He does look just like Nemesis.
Yeah, just with horns.
Yeah, Nemesis with horns. Yeah.
I picked up Spider-Man Fake Red, which was the manga.
Oh, cool.
On a whim. Mm-hmm. And really good.
Nice.
So the whole plot line is So Peter Parker is dealing with the Venom symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
And right before he gets the Venom symbiote, it's during that part in his life where he gives up the suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of out of continuity, but they take a moment in continuity and tell a story in it. Yeah. So it's that moment where he throws the suit away, that iconic cover. He's like, I'm not Superman, or I'm not Spider-Man anymore.
Right.
But then they use that to him getting the Venom symbiote and he's fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And some kid in New York just finds the Spider-Man suit and takes it home and is like, I need to give this back to Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole story is about this kid who's like, well, what if I go out and just wear the suit and, around, and everybody thinks he's Spider-Man. So he has to go save people, or else people are going to think Spider-Man's a coward or something.
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
So it's a kind of a unique story. One I've never seen, at least in Spider-Man before. So I highly recommend it. And the packaging is cool. It's hard to see in this, but like there's kind of a foil web.
Oh yeah,
all through the cover.
That's cool.
And it's set up for more, but I almost hope they just leave it.
Yeah,
because it's a cool story, and it is what it is.
It sounds good.
Another graphic novel I had is Night Fever by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I like that cover. It's a great cover, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool.
So the whole premise is this guy is a book publisher, and he's going to a convention in France, and he meets this guy. Well, he sneaks into this party pretending to be somebody, and he meets the guy who was supposed to be using the name that he snuck in under.
Okay.
And then they commit a bunch of crimes together. And the guy, like the American, realizes he's going, like, he's sick of his day-to-day life. Like, he's kind of bored with just being a guy that goes to work and has kids and everything. And he's getting some sick thrill out of it. And then does all these crazy things, goes to these parties with cultists and nudists and everything, and thinks he sees aliens at one point. And it's this weird story about this guy, and in the end kind of realizes what's going on, that he's been duped and has to fix it. So if you like Brubaker Phillips stuff, you're going to enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. We talked about it in the interview, but Unemployed Monsters I really enjoyed. Void Rivals #1.
Okay. Oh, this is the other super.
So this is what set up the new DC universe, the new Transformers G.I. Joe universe. Okay. With Kirkman and Lorenzo Di Felici. So the story itself is pretty basic. Two alien races are at war. They're fighting in space. They land on this deserted planet. They realize they need each other to survive on this planet. And then, spoilers, everybody. But at the end of the story, they take off their masks and they realize they look the same.
Mm.
Not really a hugely unique story, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The only connection to this Transformers stuff is literally they find a ship at one point and they're like, hey, we can use the ship for parts to get us off of here.
Yeah.
And when they activate it, it's a Transformer and it goes, how long have I been here? And they say, no, it's this blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, shit. And then he flies away.
Wow.
That's how they connected it all. It's not a bad book. It's an okay issue 1. It's just not something super groundbreaking or, that you're going to be thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
And a couple of Kickstarter books. First, Charon, #13 by my buddy Judah Rad, who we had in the show to talk about. If you like James Bond and you like sci-fi, you're going to like this book because that's what it is.
Okay. That's cool.
We got this like secret agent in space who's going on this mission. He meets the girl. He bangs the girl. And then they find out there's more of the mission. So he's got a bigger story arc to this, but I really enjoyed it. And then Tough Stuff issue 3, the Tuffening part 1.
Nice.
Which I'm in, everybody. So this takes place after the events of Tough Stuff issue 2.
Okay.
Where Tough Stuff is now dead. And it's November, December 1999. So we're dealing with Y2K in this.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Tough Stuff's cousin, Enough Stuff,
oh my god,
works at a bookstore. And she's trying to like warn everybody about Y2K. And she thinks that the only way to like help and get people to realize what's going on is to resurrect her cousin Tough Stuff. We then like kind of flash forward to the future and Tough Stuff's alive again. And we're in this like dystopian future where like Amazon controls everything. Although it's not Amazon, it's a different thing.
Right.
But Amazon controls everything and people are like slaves to Amazon.
Classic.
And he does a really cool like homage to Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, nice.
Like, yeah. And then we go back and it's Enough Stuff trying to find where Tough Stuff's body is. And what's funny to me is, so she goes to the Bermuda Triangle to get the answers and all this. And then when she finds the body, her solution to finding his soul is to smoke DMT.
Nice.
And go to another universe.
Makes sense.
Where she does, in fact, find his soul.
Makes sense.
I thought it was a really good book. I really enjoyed Tough Stuff.
Where's your character in the issue?
It's right in the beginning. She tries to warn the FBI about Y2K. And I basically tell her that she is... let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, I don't tell her. Another person tells her. Like, she tells me about the Y2K thing. And then one of the other people in the panel goes like, "That's a cute story. Now run along and go do cat shit."
That's funny.
And then we all start doing a bunch of drugs and banging each other.
Hell
and
yeah.
Apparently I'm in the corner shooting heroin.
Nice.
Thanks, Delgado.
Classic.
I didn't realize that right now.
Classic Chris. Dude, he gave you the friggin' he gave you the Red Arrow treatment, bro.
It's bad enough you made me an FBI agent.
Yeah, what the hell? A heroin addicted FBI agent.
Yeah, Tough Stuff's a fun book, and I look forward to chatting with Delgado again soon. Hopefully at the end of the month. I think he's going to be at Nickel City, so
cool. Very cool.
Hang out. Yeah, Mike, that was everything I read this week. So where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter, although Twitter has become this huge boxing ring for most people. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, where I'll be defending Travis Gibb with my life.
Yep.
And you can find the show at FortressComics_ on Twitter. Also at FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, if you want to support the show, the best ways to do it is to give us a review on podcatchers, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version. And if you want to go the extra mile, there's Patreon at patreon.com/FortressComics. So thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see you all here next week.